going on, everyone? Sky here. Welcome back to the channel. Back for episode 3 of Jenn's season of The Bachelorette. We're still in the land down under in Melbourne, Australia. After an exciting first 2 episodes of this season of The Bachelorette, we're back for episode 3. So let's just dive right into it. But first, if you could, hit that like and subscribe button down below if you haven't already. So let's just jump in. At the beginning of the episode, we get a little trigger warning for the episode about gyrating men. So Yosef, make sure your daughter shut the TV off a little early tonight, okay, buddy? So we open up with the guys working out at the hotel. They move inside and talk about trying to make the focus on Jenn and not any drama. So naturally, we know they're going to make it about drama, not about Jenn. Sam M and Thomas and Devin were mainly involved last episode, obviously, and, so Spencer was outspoken about wanting to just kind of move forward. Devin still feels very confident in the connection with Jenn, but it's Spencer who gets the one-on-one date. Jenn says Spencer has golden retriever energy. Possibly a little Taylor Swift reference there? I don't know. We love it. They're going for a helicopter ride, looking for him to continue to put her first, and he does a good job helping her in the helicopter. Helps her get all situated, get her seatbelt all situated. Good on you, Spencer. They go to the Great Ocean Road in Victoria, Australia. See some awesome scenery, share a nice smooch in the helicopter. Vibes are going really good for Spencer and Jenn so far on this date. Back at the hotel, the Devin drama continues. And Sam M calls him an ankle-biting dog and says Jenn can't grow with a guy like that and a guy like me at the same time. For the dinner portion of the one-on-one date with Spencer, him and Jenn go to this beautiful building, and Spencer is ready to share something that he says is not easy for him to share. And Jenn says he's made her feel cared for, which she hasn't had a lot in her life in terms of relationships. She's had a lot of toxic relationships, so she appreciates that. Spencer tells her that he was engaged before and they bought a house together 2 months before the wedding. She came back from a work trip and said she needed time to think, pack some stuff, went to her parents' house. Apparently she had cheated on him and he still, to this day, didn't really know the extent of it. He shares how rough and how hard it was to get back up afterwards. I can't even imagine going through that. So, I mean, I always just like to shout out whenever anyone on the show, kind of bears their heart and, opens up something about that personal about themselves, have to, appreciate Spencer for opening up and, sharing that story with, again, not just Jenn, but with all of us as well. Imagine that was incredibly hard to share, knowing it would be out there. But good on Spencer for, feeling comfortable enough to open up to Jenn, most importantly. Jenn asks how he feels about engagement, and he says, being able to learn everything about himself over the last couple of years, he's ready and he's not really scared, he says, about getting engaged, as she asks. He's ready to build something with someone. Jenn is excited as she gives him the rose from the one-on-one date. They go up to the roof and there's a fireworks show, and they share a nice moment with the fireworks going off in the background. Speaking of fireworks, the date card arrives back at the hotel, looking for a love down under. Devin's going on the group date with Sam M, and he's outspoken about not happy being on the same group date with him. Shouldn't have made that known. The producers will eat that one up for every bit of the energy it has out of that. Said if it's a competition, he'll step on his neck. Okay. So for the group date, they're doing the classic strip dance date that we usually get on the seasons of The Bachelorette. As the Australian Thunder from Down Under, from there in Vegas, is there to help demonstrate some moves for them to do. Devin is trying to make Jenn the main priority. Good on him. Unlike Sam, who is trying to just step on Devin's neck. Sam N hurt his wrists while doing the dolphin dive, a move that the Australian Thunder from Down Under fellas were showing the guys to do. And he was really uncomfortable with doing this date anyway, but now he's a little banged up to add salt on the wound. Jenn says how her and Sam M have a very palpable sexual tension. You think you should have had a trigger warning for that makeout session in week 1, too. So the guys run upstairs to change into some costumes. Sam N strained his wrist or his thumb. I think it was his thumb. Says how this isn't up his alley, but hopes he can just get through it and make the most of it for Jenn. But it's showtime for Jenn and Yosef. I hope your daughter has the television off. We wouldn't want to subject her to anything like this ever. The Australian Bachelorettes are there to help judge with Jenn. Dylan goes for it. Marcus surprised Jenn as well. She said, shout out to the Australian Bachelorettes for saying the one said, I think she went with or kept around someone that, had that sexual tension with, like she has with Sam M. but it wasn't the best choice. Devin went for it despite being nervous and, again, not up his alley. I'm sure this isn't up most guys' there's alley, but he went for it. Sam N, nervous when he goes out, and obviously he strained his wrist thumb too. So he goes out and he says, cut the music, grabs the mic, and he says, I'm already falling in love with you. You could hear a pin drop afterwards, and for someone who says he's never been in love, I'm not sure expressing that you're starting to fall in love in a room full of half-naked dudes in Speedos and an audience is the best place to do that. But I feel like that was a little producer-driven, given how nervous he was. Give him, something to do and stand out to Jenn. But not the best route there. He can feel he's being judged, and that's not right on the guys for laughing at him. It is a little weird. That's not justifying the guys laughing at him at all. But Mr. Love Down Under goes to Jonathan. At the night portion, Sam N has a brace on now. Jonathan and Jenn have a nice chat. Smooch. Smart. He wanted to get the kiss out of the way first in case someone comes in and interrupts. Devin asked the guys how they like to see his, let's keep it PG, his bare butt, we'll say. Sometimes people just continue to put their foot in their mouth, and that's the vibe we're getting with Devin so far this season. Devin comes and interrupts Jonathan's time with Jenn. I really shouldn't say interrupt. I guess it is interrupting, but we don't know how long they were up there talking. He comes and seals Jenn away, or, goes and steps in. Devin does open up to Jenn about giving him confidence to go out there and do that, even being super uncomfortable. He did surprise Jenn tonight, though, and, being able to be vulnerable with her, she said. Guys aren't vibing with Sam N professing his love, so now we got another, thing to kind of the producers to reel some drama out of. Sam N apologizes to Jenn for being the corniest in the room. Jenn doesn't want him to be ashamed for saying how he feels. She appreciates it. She says afterwards that it does feel kind of early, but the fact that someone is saying it this early does reassure her that, this process is working for her. Sam N and Thomas N are outside talking about Sam N. Don't like so many people, especially contestants on this show, just throw around the word bullying so much, and it's, I guess kind of like backdoor bullying. I don't even think that's a term, just coming up with something, just talking about someone behind their back or making fun of them or making fun of Sam N behind their back. Yeah, just don't like the vibes there. Devin overhears and he wants to stick up for Sam N because he sees him as a little brother. John brings Jenn some chocolate, share a nice moment there. Meanwhile, Sam N is apologizing to the group of guys for saying what he said and, didn't want it to be misconstrued, saying he was starting to fall in love. Sam M and Thomas N were laughing, apparently, as Sam N was saying this. Devin basically calling them out for being hypocritical, for saying, hey, let's have mutual respect for everyone, but then, laughing as someone's, kind of opening up to the group a little bit, apologizing about something. Sam M says how he has no respect for Devin. The producer's doing Sam M dirty, but rightfully so. On his little card, when he was doing a confessional with the camera, says, needs to look up the definition of bully in the dictionary. And that is right, calling Devin a bully. Wouldn't really throw that around with Devin as of right now. I've said it a couple times this season. He can definitely, handle the situation with the guys a little bit better, but not a bully, in my opinion, right now. Sam N and Jenn having a very intimate moment there on the couch, and she's like, you've never asked me to be your girlfriend. He starts to pull out the stripper routine again, and I hope Yosef's daughter didn't turn the TV back on, because, oh boy, getting a little more X-rated than even earlier in the episode. Jenn gives the group date rose to Devin. However, as Sam M is laughing, the red flags that a majority of the people saw at the beginning of the season with Sam M are very apparent now. Aaron got a call from back home or his work and the Air Force that some flight training that he's been waiting for came available, slots came open, and they can't hold them, so he has one day to decide. So now he has a decision to make as he goes on this group date. Only 4 people on the group date. Jenn drives up in a pink race car, and they're going to practice driving stick and driving on the right side of the track, and then they'll race to see who gets some extra time with Jenn. Hakeem is absolutely hilarious, but he's not super fast on the track. Jeremy loses the race on purpose to get a little bit of an extra snog, as to quote the announcer that was calling the race with Jesse. Aaron came in second, even though he was the one who was kind of most prepared for this. He's driven stick, he's driven on the right side before, but Austin won and got the extra time. Tough for Aaron, especially that he has this tough decision to make. The night portion, Aaron gets to open up some more with her to learn a little bit more. I can't get over the fact that Jeremy looks like Jed, though. I don't know if anyone else sees that. Obviously, who Hannah Brown, unfortunately, ended up picking in her season, who, let's just say that did not end well. Hopefully, he turns out a better guy than him, though. Jen does open up to Jeremy and in her confessional about the tough or toxic relationships that she's had throughout her life and not having an example growing up. Hakeem opens up, and so does Austin, revealing that he was cheated on previously. Overall, I think the smaller group date allowed Jen to have a more productive night, getting to know the guys that were there. Obviously, you can't do that all the time, just for TV and production purposes, but I thought that worked out well for Jen at this point in the journey. Jen gives the rose to Jeremy. Aaron says how if he would have got that rose, it would have been that stamp that he was looking for. But now he has a lot to think about, getting that call from back home, his job, that, something he's been waiting for. So there's 15 guys going into the cocktail party tonight, with 3 having roses. The guys wanting to keep the good vibes, but Aaron might have some big news here tonight. And the other Sam M, Thomas N, and Devin drama could resurface. Aaron feels that he's being pulled in 2 different directions, but he feels that he's not far enough along to get rid of these dreams that he's had for basically his whole life, as he was kind of saying. So he tells Jen about his fighter pilot dreams and that they called, so he's got to go, and that's the decision he's making. Jen appreciates the honesty, and she says, if I was you, I'd do the same. Then Aaron throws a shot heading out the door, saying, not going to name names, but there are people there that aren't here for the right reasons or won't be ready for an engagement, basically, at the end of this. Aaron says, I'm not trying to scare you. And she's like, yeah, you kind of are, especially because you're not saying names. He said, I feel that's on you to figure out. Jen is obviously a little ticked off at this point, kind of just walks him out. They don't really show any, hug goodbye or anything. So what could have been leaving on good terms turns into leaving on not so good terms. Jen says it was a disingenuous conversation if he can't even say the names of the people he's saying he's concerned about as he's walking out the door. Jen tells the guys what Aaron said as he was walking out. She says, sit here and really think about if you think this is the place that you should be, and if this isn't the place you need to be, then you need to get out. Then asks Marcus if he wants to go chat. I think this is good for Jen because I feel like Marcus is kind of guy that just makes her feel a little bit better and is able to comfort her. Meanwhile, the guys are trying to figure out who Aaron was talking about. Sam M calls out Devin for not agreeing with what Aaron did. Sam M says there's no way Jen can love a guy like him and a guy like Devin. Sam opens up to Jen about it being a tough night because Aaron was his boy, and Jen's like, aren't you a little rattled by the speech that I gave? And he says, well, none of it applies to me. Jen believes him. He says he's here for her and that you can't fake passion, she says. I hope you're right, Jen, but wouldn't place a large bet on that one. Jen is able to open up a little more to Devin as well. And I'll give Devin this. He's killing it with Jen personally on a one-on-one level, which at the end of the day is kind of what all that matters, but could maybe handle how he deals with the other guys a little bit better. No disagreeing with that, or, no real way around that. Could just handle that a little better. And we are still arguing in the group. Spencer says, what is the purpose of this? Just shut up. This is so stupid. It's rose ceremony time, and Austin and Hakeem didn't get any time with Jen because of everything and all the arguments, nonsense that was going on. So tensions are high going into the rose ceremony. Sam N gets the last rose. So Thomas A and Hakeem didn't get a rose, but man, get Hakeem on Bachelor in Paradise next summer when the show comes back on. Next episode, can we please just wrap all this nonsense up? Next week, it does look like Devin gets a one-on-one and tells her he's falling for her, while she says she's falling for Sam M. Can't tell, kind of looks like a one-on-one date, possibly maybe just a private moment at a group date, but then some Sam N drama. They're calling him a kid, saying he doesn't know what love is. As he says, he's not here for the bromance. He doesn't care about those dudes. Plus, one of Jen's exes appears to show up next week, as we saw in the season teaser after episode 1. My guess that'll kind of be the cliffhanger at the end of the episode, if I had to guess. Although they have been doing a good job of wrapping up every episode with the rose ceremony at the end, which I do like that, the more classic each episode has a rose ceremony and, kind of going that route. I like that. But I feel like that would be a good teaser if they were to go that route that they went for a few years there and didn't end every episode with a rose ceremony. We can have a one-off here and leave that as a cliffhanger for next week, possibly. But anyway, next week, let's just wrap up all this nonsense drama, at most the next 2 weeks, and then can kind of start focusing on the love stories that are forming here. Really like the connections with Dylan, Marcus, and Spencer, just to name a few. That'll do it for this episode 3 recap of Jenn's season of The Bachelorette. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.